How's it going, guys? Welcome to another video. Today we're just going to be doing a little discussion on Tesla service and how my experience was the first time using them. So unfortunately, I have a giant screw that got lodged into my tire by driving over an area where construction was happening nearby. Luckily, I actually was able to detect it fast because a chunk of plastic came with it, so every time my tire would roll, I would hear like a clunk, clunk, clunk. So luckily for me, I didn't have to randomly experience a flat tire, which could have damaged my rim, so we were able to get this taken care of fast. So immediately, I decided to take it to the closest tire place I could find, Tires Plus, which is about a mile from where I currently was, and I was comfortable driving that far just because it was about 5 minutes. Now, typically you do not want to drive when you have a screw or a nail inside your tire because you do still run the risk of blowing out your tire, which in that case, I would have to replace the whole tire and not just patch the hole. But it was close enough to where I felt comfortable driving slowly and I can get there. And I did make it there. Unfortunately, when I got there, I found out that they are weirdly scared of working on Teslas. For one, even though it's just a tire, they didn't want to lift the car on any of their jacks without these pucks. Now, if you didn't know what a puck is, this is what it is. And I did not have these at the time, but all it does is inserts into the Tesla to make basically a more sturdy round surface away from the battery that the jack stand can go on. Otherwise, you can always just attach the jack stand directly to it, but I guess they were too scared they were going to accidentally lift it from the battery. I'm not sure, it's pretty obvious where you're supposed to jack the car up from. And when the tech came by, I actually asked him about these pucks and I said, "What do you use?" And I asked him if they needed them, and he looked at me like it was a no-brainer, just use the jack where the jack stand is supposed to go. Because he didn't even use the pucks himself when he was doing it. Now obviously he is the professional and he works on Teslas all the time, but it's a clear spot where you're supposed to jack the car up. And he said as long as you don't go off that spot, like trying to jack the car up by the battery, you should be fine. The pucks just make it a little easier to get to, but you can still mount the jack stand right to that point itself. They refused to work on the car without these pucks, and I did not have these at the time. Obviously I do now, but this is just for future reference or whatever. They're really cheap online. I think I got these for 20 bucks for a pack of 4 of them. So I have them now just in case I need them in the future, but they refused to work on the car at all without these pucks. So I had to end up taking the car over to the closest place I could, which was my parents' actually. So it wasn't even my own home, but I left the car there until the tech could arrive. So I decided to end up going through the app and just doing roadside assistance and saying I had a flat tire. Tesla ended up sending out their mobile tire repair service on Monday, so this happened on Friday. So a few days later, they ended up scheduling me for a mobile repair service, and on the day, Christian the tech, he called me and he said what time he was going to be there. I didn't even have to be there. I wanted to be there to film it, but unfortunately, he was too fast in fixing the entire tire. It only took him 15 minutes. So by the time I actually made it there, when he told me he was there, he had already done almost everything he needed to do with the tire. I did get some pictures though to share with you guys. So one cool thing to talk about is the other places quoted me about 2 hours to fix this tire because they said there is some special insulation inside the tire and it just takes a lot longer. The tech did this in 15 minutes. So I'm not really sure exactly why they were giving me such a long quoted time to fix this tire because these are not any kind of special tires. They're nice tires, but they're not Tesla tires or anything. They're just Michelin tires with a foam insulation. So more cars do have this foam insulation, and it's actually a polyurethane foam that is sound isolating. So all it does is basically captures noise from the tire to make it quieter. And with Tesla specifically, you do hear a lot more of the noise outside the car because there's no giant combustion engine in the front, which usually covers up a lot of the sound. So you will notice in driving Teslas and electric cars in general, you hear more stuff happening outside the car, which these tires would add to that. So that is probably why they decided to go with the insulated tire ring. Now to fix this, all they actually do is cut out the square that was affected wherever the bolt was. So all he had to do was cut open the insulation and remove that little piece that the bolt had hit and then patch, and he was all good to go. And this service that they offer is actually complimentary, so even if I would have taken my car to a Tesla service center, it would have cost the same amount. So in total, it cost me about $70 to get the entire tire repaired, which is much better than the $350 it would have cost me to replace the entire tire. Now, one little tidbit that he offered me was Tesla will only do this once. So they'll only repair the same tire one time, and that is their limit. By Florida law, where I live, it is 3 times. So technically I can bring it, if I did get another nail in the same exact tire, so the tire has already been patched, I could bring it to another place and they could do 2 more patches. So up to 3 times you could patch the same tire. Tesla though will only do it once. So if I brought the car back to them and said this same tire had another nail in it, they would only replace the tire and they would not do any kind of repairs on it after the first repair was done. Luckily for me though, these tires are still very new and the repair was totally doable because it was in the middle of the treads of the wheel. It was an easy fix and hopefully I won't have to go through this again. But the tech in general, he was super helpful, super nice. I wish I would have gotten there a little earlier just to see him work and do all that stuff. And that is it. As you see here in the final pictures, that is where the actual patch took place. It is barely noticeable now. I'm not entirely sure the methods that they use to patch these. I'm not an expert in tire patching, but you can't even barely tell that there was ever a hole there. And he already pumped my tire back up to the correct pressure it needed to be. So in all, it took maybe 20 minutes total from him arriving, fixing the tire, and I kind of stopped him by talking with him and getting pictures and stuff like that. So in all, it was a very easy and smooth process. And honestly, $70 was not that bad considering the other places would have quoted me about $40 to $50. So I'm happy to spend a few bucks extra to get it done professionally, quickly, and most importantly, very conveniently because they will come to you. And that is pretty much it for this video, guys. I just wanted to share my experience on this, and I figured, hey, some misery might have happened there, you know, got the tire all messed up, but I might as well make a video out of it, do something good with this information, and hopefully you guys learned something or just got entertained for a little bit. Anyways, I'll see you on the next one. Subscribe if you like more videos like this. I'll do Tesla ones every now and then just because, why not? But anyways, I'll see you all in the next one.